Good morning, beautiful souls, and the beautiful light that you bring and are, and that's it forever. And these are just little reminders that we do every 8 a.m. Pacific time when we come together like this. But don't underestimate the power of your light, the power of a miraculous kind of day, you know? There's two ways to see life, said Einstein. One way is to think that everything is just falling apart, and the other is to think or to have the mindset that everything's a miracle. So this is we go that route. That today we are going to make a wish upon a star. How's that? Make a wish upon a star. And the yogis talk about that star being right here at the spiritual eye point, that you just look up and in slightly without making your eyes cross-eyed and stuff like that, just up and in, knowing that this is the doorway. This is a transmitter as well, the spiritual eye. It's the awakening of if thy eye be single, thy whole body will be filled with light. Yeah. So if we can keep our attention, just our attention, you don't necessarily have to do the movement of your eyes or your eyelids so much as just knowing that you are always poised to make a wish upon a star. And you guess what? Fairy tales do come true. So we're going to look at the story of the Magi who followed the star in the east and came to a little stable and knelt down and offered, some myrrh and frankincense and gold to a little baby. So how does that sound? But we're going to look at it from a different perspective this morning. That you'll hear it in the stream. All right. So welcome, Lynn Adams, Lisa and Jim, Kathleen, Cami, yeah, Lynn Adams. I mentioned you. Thank you. This is what brings the uh, the soul out. You know, the soul might be a little sleepy, wanted to sleep in today. Of course, I don't think the soul ever wants that. It just wants more union and communion and awareness that we are the light. All right, so that's what we're going to go after this morning. Lori, so happy you're here. Honestly, you are a star in the east. You are a star. All of you are stars. You are stars in a galaxy of God's presence, of divine presence, in a galaxy, in a universe of divine presence, where there's just the the consciousness of the light, the consciousness of happiness, the consciousness. It's not physical, it's not mental. So it's just pure soul. It's pure soul. We're talking pure soul. This is called the Magi represented awakened intelligence recognized. The Magi were not just men following a star, my dears. All right. So this is why we get to use intuitive imagination every one of these streams that we come to. I think that's probably the ticket to ride for all of us, that we can use our imagination and get out of the factual world and the things, a big earthquake just happened somewhere in the that's going to affect some of the Hawaii and maybe even Pacific coast and things like that. There's always something, that facts will say, oh, but don't you want to see what's happening here? Don't you want to know what happened there? Right? When we can go, no, 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 no. I'm making wishes upon a star. I, if my eye be single, my whole body will be filled with light. So these magi were not just men following a star, my dears. They were consciousness. They were consciousness. You are consciousness, Len, Lori, Lisa, just in case you forgot. Kathleen, pure consciousness. That means those thoughts are tricky things. They can lead you astray like that, but they can also lead you into consciousness just like that as well. Because If the heart is engaged and the heart is about one thing, loving the love, being the love, sharing the love, witnessing the love, pouring your heart into it today. The littlest things, like this humble guy who wrote a little booklet practicing the presence of God. We read it many times as new monks, and he would do the littlest things, like just sweep the floor with so much delight in the presence, sweeping the floor, doing all these mundane tasks, and he became a great saint. He didn't make a big deal about it at all. In fact, he was so humble that he went unnoticed until the time came when the people realized, oh my God, this guy is something. So it was Brother Lawrence, his name was. So these magi were consciousness recognizing a frequency before the world had language for it. They recognized the frequency. Can we be more frequent about recognizing a frequency, my dears? How about that transmitting station of the spiritual eye, that doorway into the light, that doorway into the presence, the universal presence of consciousness? We can do that. The Magi were not simply three wise men riding across a desert with gifts in their hands. They were symbols. They were seekers, just like you and I are right now. We've come here for something, right? We've come here. You're sitting here now. It's amazing that you're sitting here now. You've come here for something. Let's dial it in and say that our group goal today is to make wishes upon the star. Even maybe just attempt to bring your consciousness and awareness up to the point between the eyebrows where the spiritual eye is, right? The blue background, the gold that's around that, and then the five-pointed star in the middle. There is a time that will be your awareness, my dears, in that light, of the presence in the spiritual eye point, inside your mind, inside your cosmic consciousness brain, really. So we are seekers, and they too were seekers, part of humanity that still knew how to read the sky without separating it from the soul. They could read the sky. They could read the stars. They could read through intuition. They could read through their intuitive imaginations. They could read the sky without separating it from the soul. Like there's the sky, and there are the animals. There's the rain coming. There is this coming, and this and that coming. They just never separated their soul from the amazingness of Mother Nature, Mother Gaia. They never separated themselves from that. They were always a part of that light, always a part of that light. The wise men, and you are wise men and women on this channel this morning, I'll tell you. They were part of a humanity that still knew how to read the sky without separating it from the soul. Yeah, what a different kind of day this can be if you look up to the spiritual eye point as many times as possible today and just make a wish upon the star. And don't doubt it. Don't doubt it. What do you wish for today, my dears? It will come true if you really believe it. If it's a heart thing, if it's the core of you, you know, calling out SOS, spirit, oh spirit, spirit, oh spirit, I need you right now. I want to feel you right now. I want to experience you right now, and just have a constant conversation as you call on that star right at your spiritual eye point. I think it could be a pretty radical day. They understood something, these wise men. They understood something modern humans have almost completely forgotten. They understood something that most humans have already completely forgotten. And the first thing they knew that they didn't forget is that the universe speaks. The universe speaks because the Holy Presence, the Holy Spirit, the Holy Spirit, the great comforter, is all around us, my dears. So they understood that. And most humans completely forgot it. They know the universe speaks. The universe speaks, not always in words, sometimes in stars, sometimes in divine timing, sometimes in the strange pull. See if any of this relates to you this morning, just in case we're in the right place at the right time, which I do believe we are, my dears, for this morning's upload. Upload of consciousness. How's that? The upload of consciousness this morning, Lori and Kathleen. Sometimes there's a strange pull that makes no logical sense yet refuses to leave you alone. You feeling a strange pull that makes no logical sense today? Doesn't fit into the old program, the old way MO that you would go through today on this Monday? Huh? Do you feel a strange pull? Well, let's see if we can feel that pull. And it's a pull up to the spiritual eye point. It's an awareness pull. And it's going to pull our consciousness up so we can make one wish upon a star constantly today, because that's the doorway into the presence. The Magi followed the star because something in them recognized alignment. So, why would we do this today? Because we recognize there's an alignment possibility for us today. We can align with the divine, 100%, like never before. Just being remembered, just being reminded like we are right now. This is why I'm doing this stream this morning, just as a reminder that there's a strange pull pulling at us right now, and it refuses to leave us alone. If you can kind of feel that right now, pulling at your heartstrings, my dears, pulling at your soul, pulling at your awareness, pulling at your capabilities as a divine being having a divine experience here, right? Something like that. The Magi followed the star because something in them recognized alignment. Not celebrity, not religion, not authority, but alignment. Alignment, attunement. There's nothing greater than attunement to the source, to the reality, just being tuned up like a tuning fork. This is what also happens here. We all get tuned up. We get our heartstrings, which need to be in order because they are the ones that cognize the awareness that we have at the spiritual eye that brings it into fruition, brings it into a reality for us so we can live it, we can breathe it, we can feel it, we can share it. It can change everything about everything, anytime, anywhere. So this is kind of what we're up to today. They discovered they were after alignment, those guys, the wise guys. We can call them the wise guys. And we're the wise souls right now on this love line to the divine. So they didn't need a temple committee to approve their journey. They did not need a temple committee to approve their journey across the wild desert into the light of the spiritual eye. They didn't need a temple committee to give them permission. They did not need the empire to validate what they saw. They did not ask permission. Is this maybe a cup of tea that you like to drink, my dears? You don't you go for forgiveness after that rather than get permission. That would be an old system permission, another shutdown from the old system of us, the old working system of us. No, they didn't ask permission from the old world before walking toward the new one. They didn't ask. That is why the story still matters. Can you imagine? It's summer coming up. It's going to be in the 90s, maybe even 100 or something here in a few days. So we're certainly not at Christmas time singing Christmas carols right now. But the story still matters that we're sharing right now. It really still matters, maybe even more than we could know. Because the Magi represent the awakened intelligence, Lori. The awakened intelligence that can see beyond the surface of events. Wow. The awakened intelligence that can see beyond the surface of events. Wow. Beyond all the distractions. They can see beyond the surface of events. While kings were guarding power, while priests were protecting doctrine, while the world was distracted by hierarchy, the Magi were making wishes upon the stars. But it actually says here, the Magi were watching the heavens. And in this sense, we're making wishes today upon a star. We too are going to watch the heavens today. We're going to be in the heaven of the spiritual eye today. If thy eye be single, thy whole body will be filled with light. Aha, aho, yay. They knew a shift had entered the field. They were pulled towards it. They knew something had been born that threatened every false throne built on fear. Wow. They know, can you imagine? We still have fear, right? We still have limitations in this bodysuit and this mind limitations if we're not careful and all of that, right? They knew that the shift had entered the field. They knew something had been born. Could we feel something like that today? That something is awakening within us or being born in us? That threatened every false throne built on fear. If we have some fear, if we have some still old beliefs that something is in the workings right now, and that it is always what happens when true light arrives, that there is a pull with the true light lifting you up to awareness at your spiritual eye point. It always happens when true light arrives. All those things that have a false way for us to go comes out of the woodwork because it's so afraid that it's going to lose power over you, my dears. It threatens every false throne built on fear. This beautiful light, this beautiful light. The controllers feel disturbed before the seekers feel confirmed. The controllers feel disturbed. So those who are wanting to control their lives still work the old system. It's working yourself to complete exhaustion, really, the old system. They know that the controllers are disturbed by this, the ones that want to control everybody. Before the seekers, you and me, feel confirmed. For example, Herod panicked. Herod, remember the story of Herod? Got to kill all the little babies. He's so worried that the Christ was around, something that it was bigger and better than his little throne of ego, you know, authority. The controllers feel disturbed before we feel confirmed, the seekers. Herod panicked because light exposes what power tries to hide. Herod panicked because light exposes what power tries to hide. So, by us making many wishes upon a star today, just go for it. Just go for it. Just go for it. And all those dark sides of us, shadow sides of us, will be panicking, no question about it, because so much light is going to enter your temple, my dears. So Herod panicked like crazy. The Magi bowed because wisdom recognizes what ego could not. So the Magi just bowed down. They just knew there was this force, this light force, this God force, this omnipresent force was real. And they were recognizing what ego could not. And the gifts that they brought, gold was not just wealth, it was recognition. So, gold that they offered those Magi was not just wealth, it was recognition of divine sovereignty. And in some ways, we're talking about divine sovereignty right now, that you have absolute mastery over your awareness today, that you have absolute mastery over the vision that you have for today, which can be an inner one, which has nothing to do with the outer shenanigans going on, has nothing to do with your old self. It has everything to do with your awakening and of your pure consciousness, my dears, as you stand before that blazing light of God. So the gold was not just wealth, it was recognition of your glory, divine sovereignty. And Lynn, your divine sovereignty. Lisa and Jim, your divine sovereignty. Kathleen, your divine sovereignty. And Cami, your divine sovereignty. I just can't get enough of acknowledging each of you for your divinity. It's very rare, on the planet that people would acknowledge everybody's divinity versus all the other things. It's a recognition of divine sovereignty. Frankincense was not just fragrance, it was the offering of spirit, prayer, and sacred breath. Wow. Sacred breath. Can you feel your sacred breath right now? It was an offering of spirit. Everything's an offering. We're offering everything back to Creator, to Source. We're not claiming anything. That's the whole delusion thing and the illusion thing is that we feel we have some kind of duty here, that we have some kind of a purpose here, other than this great awakening, which Yogananda says is knocking at our door. Lord, grant us the strength to welcome the dawn over the ashes of many desires. So we are in that spirit, an offering of spirit, prayer, and sacred breath. That's what frankincense represents. The fragrance is an offering of spirit, prayer, and sacred breath back to the one, back into the light we go. Myrrh was not just a burial resin, it was the acknowledgement that incarnation comes with suffering, transformation, and death of the false self. That's what the myrrh represents. Wow, this would be good for around Christmas to do this stream, right? To save this and do it and hear it again around the the jingle bells. Myrrh was not just burial resin, it was an acknowledgement that incarnation comes with suffering, transformation, and death of the false self. The Magi brought the whole human journey. They just simply, my words, they just simply and powerfully and humbly brought the whole human journey to a newborn light. Body, soul, and spirit. Earth, heaven, and initiation. Matter, mystery, and mortality. They were not worshiping a baby, my dears, because religion told them to. They were honoring. And we could do this today. They were honoring the arrival of consciousness in human form. They were honoring the arrival of consciousness in human form. Now, listen, maybe when you look into the mirror next time, you can remember this little moment here in the stream right now about honoring the arrival of consciousness in human form. That when you look into that mirror today, my dears, that you can acknowledge, recognize that it's you, the arrival of consciousness in human form. It's you. It's you, the Christ, the Christos consciousness, born again, being born again in you. They are honoring the arrival of consciousness in human form, and maybe that is the deeper message. Yeah, because you look in the mirror a lot. Why don't you see yourself as this wise woman, this wise man? Huh? If thy eye be single, thy whole body will be filled with light, and you make many, many, many wishes upon a star today. My dears, go for it. Go for it. The star was never only above them, it was awakening within them. Oh, see where we're going? Huh? What do you think, Cammy? Huh? Star was never above them. I don't know. This just gives me hope. It's simple. It's just simple. This just gives me hope. This just gives me a possibility today. A lot of people won't even have a possibility today. It'll be the same old. But we have a possibility because we're hearing these words. We're in this vibration right now. Now, maybe the star never was only above them, it was awakening within them because no one follows a true star unless something inside them is already burning with the same light. Lynn, Lori, Lisa, Jim, Kathleen, Cami, are we all burning with the same light as we follow this true star? At this in the star in the east, this is the eastern part of the body, the spiritual eye. No one follows a true star unless something inside them is already burning with the same light. Wow. My dears, thank you for you. Thank you for your time here. Even if you don't get anything out of this, you have brought an energy and a consciousness and an awareness that many of us not even aware of right now. But you're bringing it anyway. And that's having an effect on not only us, but the whole world. The Magi are the part of us that still remembers how to seek, my dears. Wow. The part that notices signs, that looks up to the sky, that still knows the language of the sky and the stars. The part that refuses to let empire strikes back. The part that refuses to let the empire define truth. The part that can kneel before innocence but stand unafraid before kings. Wow. They remind us that wisdom is not loud. It doesn't need a pulpit, my dears. It just needs a little stream. It does not perform certainty. It listens. It watches. It follows the impossible glow until the soul says, there. There is the way. It follows the impossible glow until the soul says, there. That is the way. Wow. And maybe this is why the Magi matter now, because humanity is once again standing between empire and revelation. Very true to today, right? To today's so-called reality, dream delusion that's going on, because humanity is once again standing between empire, my dears, and revelation, between control and consciousness, between all systems trying to preserve their thrones and new light being born quietly where no one powerful thought to look. Where no one powerful thought to look. Wow, between all systems trying to preserve the thrones and then the new light being born quietly where no powerful thought to look, where no one powerful thought to look. These power mongers, right, that think control is everything. The star is appearing again, Lori, Lynn, not necessarily in the sky, maybe in the nervous system, maybe in dreams, maybe in intuition, maybe in the unbearable feeling that the old world is too small for the truth now arriving. The Magi were not just characters in a sacred story, they were prophecy of the seeker. They were the original reminder that those who know how to read the signs will always find the light before the institutions announce it. How's that? And when they found it, they did not return the same way. That part is everything because once you encounter real light, my dears, as you look up and make those wishes upon the star, the light in the east today, you cannot go back through the same road that led you to illusion. So there's no looking back. You'll turn into salt, as the Bible says. He told, what did Christ say? Don't look back or something. God said, don't look back. You'll turn into it. And they look back at this burning town and they melted. So we cannot go back through the same road that led to illusion. With love, this is the final little thing. With love for those remain remembering themselves. Thank you for saying yes to life. Put your wings on. We are walking each other home. Whispering. This is a group called Whispering the Soul Awake. Wow. Now that is a good morning that we have had, in my opinion. Just that. Huh? The last thing you probably expected was to be thinking about the Magi and the star and all those things, huh? Nice little shift, I would say. So if all of you want to give your hands a little rub, you got a lot of light in those hands and the chakras in the center of your hands, filled with light, filled with hope, filled with a new possibility today, filled with as many wishes upon a star as you can give as you offer everything back to God. Oh, let's go once more for good measure, my dears, that somehow we stay closer than ever before to, let's call it realization, awakening. Oh. So as we do our little mantra, let's just put our intuitive imagination and our armor on for today. This is the love that just pours through our consciousness, that indescribable it is. So we love, let us feel that, and we care, let us feel that, and we share. Let it shine, my dears. Yeah, because that light is made to share. It's made to shine. And that is you and me today on this day in June 8th, 2026, in the year of our Lord. How's that? All right. All right. Well, Merry Christmas. All right. Just a little pre-Christmas for us in 100-degree heat coming up. All right. Be mindful of those hurricanes, but don't let yourself go there and think something's wrong. It's just what is, okay? So thank you, my dears. Thank you for your beautiful outlook on life. Appreciate you all so much. Much love, much light. Aho. Lynn, yay! Thank you, dear. Thank you. Trish says hello. I mention you sometimes. She asks, is Lynn still on your stream? I go, yeah. All right. Much love, my dears. Aho.